Namaskaram, everybody. Let's begin. Om. Tejapurakadekshkarma kurujap chakrabjapashotpala Vryagrasvapishanratnakalashaif krodhyatkaram bhoruvaha Deyo vallabhaya sapadmakaraya ashlishto jvaladbhushaya Vishwotpatti vipatti samsati karo vignesha ishtardadha श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं धूतीक्रमं मण्डलम् वीरान्ध्यष्टचतुष्कषष्टिनवकं वीरावळी पञ्च श्रीमन्मालिनीमन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् मधर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषः प्राणापहारोद्यमे हेल निर्मितधूम्रलोचनवदे हे झण्डमुण्डर्दिनी निःशेषे कृतरक्तबीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुम्भपहे शुम्भध्वंसिनि संहर सुदुरितन् दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके सर्व चंडी महालक्ष्मी श्री पादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि सद्गुरुं श्री पादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि महा Welcome all of you for this introductory session on Soundarya Lahari. So all those who are applied for the Soundarya Lahari as a part of your semester course for this year, this will be a kind of a foundation. So there will be a lot of introduction. As compared to Lalita Sahasranamam, the introduction might be a little more extended for the Soundarya Lahari. I mean, even beyond these bridge classes, we might have to take, because we are going to in detail teach you about not just not just the chanting or the meaning, but word by word meaning, and drawing the yantras, the 100 yantras and their significances, and everything will be covered in a very detailed manner, actually. And let me tell you one very happy news. We are making our own booklets. Soundarya Lahari booklets have been, thank you, Rajeshwari Amma, for that clapping hands. So those booklets, again, it is coming in 5 different languages: English, Sanskrit, Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu. Now, if somebody is Malayalam and some other languages, don't fight with me, because these are the predominant students who are with us actually throughout for some reasons. So there will be a very specific practice booklet has been prepared for this, where the verses are given in bold letters with spaces where you can do the syllabification. There is a box is given for you to draw the yantra. While I teach itself, the yantra will be displayed. So then and there you can draw the yantra. There is also space that is given for writing the word-to-word meaning, and also there is a space for writing the explanation. So like that, it's a kind of a book for our Mahavidyalaya where you can write everything, and it can be your own notes. And also, I have given a space which is called as extra additional information and extra tips, something like that I have coined. I forgot what it is, because each of the yantra has a very specific reason, and they have certain specific dimensions of what is called as healing, actually. So those tips also you can write in those boxes, actually. Like that, we have made a kind of a book, and that book will be published. That book material will be published on the 10th of July in our group. Because it's a first year celebrations we are going to hold on that day. And also, let me tell you, on that day, 9:30 p.m., you all can join to perform Durga Sahasranamavali Kunkumarchana for Loka Kalyanam, actually. So we all will be together, will be performing Samashti Durga Sahasranama Kunkumarchana. All you need is very simple things: a little kunkumam, a small plate, and a glass of water. I'll let you know the details in our Sangha, so you can keep it ready. And all those who are interested to participate in the Durga Sahasranamavali guided Archana, you are welcome to participate. So this is something, because Soundarya Lahari is all about bliss and happiness. And I think that is what is unveiled at the starting of the class itself, actually. And to add up this, those who are very new in this class, I already spoke a little bit of introduction, which I'm not going to speak the same thing again in the class. if you are very much interested and wanted to have a depth of understanding, I request you to go through those classes. In fact, it's an instruction, because if you're very serious about learning Soundarya Lahari, please go to our Mahavidyalaya YouTube, the YouTube recordings are there. So when you get time, so please listen to that and take notes, because this, whatever I'm going to speak, is a kind of an extension from whatever I left in the last class. So not much is covered. It's not like Lalita Sahasranamam, I gave detailed classes. Very significant kind of an introduction I gave. So please go through those introduction YouTube classes. So let's begin. If I have to tell you, the bhashyams that I'm using is predominantly of Anna Subramaniam, Soundarya Lahari Bhashyam by Subramanya Shastri, and Soundarya Lahari by Mukteshwarananda Saraswati, and Soundarya Lahari by our very favorite revered Acharya Jagadguru Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahapereva. So these are the predominant bhashyams. I mean, the explanations I'm using for the references. And also, there are other significant Sanskrit texts which I had been looking into from the archives, because I'm into research. So I got some archive materials, and they are like not sure who has written those archive materials. So I'm using those archive materials, and yes, let's begin. So before we actually enter into the Soundarya Lahari, we have to understand about Shankara Bhagavad Pada. Because if Bhagavad Pada is not there, it is very difficult for us to get into the Soundarya Lahari. Bhagavad iti padaha. So Shankara is called as Bhagavad Pada because Shankara is acting as the bridge for us to reach the pada of the Bhagavan. Number one, or Shankara himself is Bhagavat Swarupam, and it is we who are supposed to reach the lotus feet of Acharya. Shankara iti Bhagavat Padaha. Shankara Bhagavat Padaha. And we need that kind of reverence, that deep, that the deep respects, the deep emotion, we have to develop for Acharya first. You might be not able to see him physically. That is fine, but we are living with his teachings. That is what it is called as, we have this, what is called as the concept of Amar. He is living here. Whatever I'm speaking, it is he who is speaking, actually. It is what he has done, that is what is the work which I'm speaking. So he is very much there. So the tradition says the love which you have on Paradevata, the bhakti which we have on Paradevata, 1% extra we have to have on Bhagavad Pada. The devotion, we should have it on Bhagavad Pada. Because it is Acharya's Purna Anugraham and Kripa, we are able to receive this knowledge. If Acharya would have not been there, it would have been too difficult, actually. Too difficult, too difficult for what? To attain what is called as this path of moksha. And Mahapereva, Puja Shri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahaswami, is actually explaining this in a beautiful manner. If Dakshinamurti was all in maunam, was all in silence, and let me tell you, this silence is not about not speaking silence. Dakshinamurti was in a silence in which his soul was in itself was silent, actually. Okay. Dakshinamurti's soul in itself was completely immersed in silence. It's not that physical silence. It's not I'm restraining from myself from speaking, therefore it is maunam. That is a very superficial level. Dakshinamurti's maunam is connected to the soul, actually. Atma maunam. And when we are talking about Atma maunam, we have to make another understanding, which is also called as Kashta maunam, actually. Kashta maunam. Mahapereva is actually he lived in Kashta Maunam. Kashta Maunam means what? Kashta means a log of wood. Just like a wood, it is just there actually. No activity. So Maunam has various classifications actually. Mauna means to being in silence in itself has a lot of classifications. So coming back to Dakshinamurti, who was an Atma Mauna Siddhihi, Dakshinamurti had to come down as Shankara Bhagavatpada, who was terrifically active. Just imagine the personality of Dakshinamurti and imagine the personality of Shankara Bhagavatpada actually. Roaming from Kashmir to Kanyakumari actually. And at a very young age, in his 30s, he has to complete huge mission. So if Brahman, the concept of Brahman, I'm sure you would have heard these concepts here and there actually. Brahman, if this Brahman is identified as Shiva, and if that Brahman becomes active, that is Shakti. If that Brahman without any attributes is considered to be Shiva, if that very Brahman becomes active, that is Shakti. And Mahapariva is beautifully putting this, that Brahman, that Shakti, both if they are going to manifest Jnanaha, that is Shankara. If that Brahman and that Shakti going to come together in one single form with Jnana, this knowledge, that is Shankara Bhagavatpadaha. Therefore, it is very much, we cannot dispute this idea that Bhagavatpada, Shankara, is the manifestation of Shiva Shakti Tattva. Shiva Shakti Aikyam, if there is an example for that, a prime example, a living traditional example, which is still there. It is one of the classic example is Bhagavatpada himself. He lived that kind of a life. And that is what the traditions say, that, we say Mata, Pita, Guru Hu. So here, Mata, Pita, and Guru all have come together, because if Mata, Pita is Jagatav Pitro Vande Parvati Parameshwaraha, if the entire world, if for this entire Jagat, if Parvati and Parameshwara is the parents, and the same parents have come down as Guru Hu. So this reverence towards Bhagavatpada is very important, students. That deep reverence, wherever you are, which part in the world you are, you should invoke the presence and the grace of Shankara Bhagavatpada actually. How you will invoke? Nothing but Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Shankaracharya Sadgurave Namaha. That's it. Nothing more. Acharya doesn't need anything else. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmad Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So it is Shankara who is coming down again and again and again in form of different teachers to establish this truth to us actually. And moving forward, if Shankara is the one who established what is called as the Advaita Tattva. Correct? You all know about Advaitam. All of you, can you give me some kind of emoji symbols to know? Is there anybody who doesn't know? I have no idea what is Advaita. I have never even heard that word. Is there anybody like that? All of you know something Advaitam is there, where God and God, all souls are one and two together. Whether I believe it or not, I heard that concept. Everybody's in that level. Correct, na? Advaitam. What about others? Raghavendra, no idea of Advaitam? No, if there is no idea, it's absolutely nice. Actually, maybe I can explain. Knowing that my students do not know what is Advaitam, it will be much better for me. If my students know, maybe I should accept that there is a prior knowledge is there. What is Advaitam? If Advaitam is nothing but everything is Bhagavan, there is no second Vastu apart from Bhagavan. That's it. Advaitam class over. Now to live this is what is difficult actually. Okay, so Advaitam is over for you all. So Bhagavad Padar was in this stage actually. He was a living manifestation of this stage, and he has written what is called as Brahma Sutra Bhashyas. Brahma Sutrams are beyond the Upanishads actually. For that, he has written Bhashyam, he has written commentaries. He has written commentaries for 10 principal. He has written commentaries for Upangas of the Vedas. He has debated on what is called as, the Uttara Mimamsam and Purva Mimamsam. So much related to Vedantam he has done actually. And it seems that after a particular point of time, Bhagavad Pada could realize this, that not all my children will be reaching this immediately. So I have to think of a different dimension for them actually. You understand? Not everybody can reach there. Bhagavad Pada himself realized, it seems, not everybody can reach. So I should do, before I leave the world, I think I should be able to do something for all my children. So what Bhagavad Pada will do? Until then, Bhagavad Pada was only roaming around in this world, in the places where we can reach. Then he immediately decided, if I have to do something extraordinary, then I have to directly go to Kailasha in itself to meet Parvati and Parameshwara. Only meeting them will give me some kind of idea of what I should do actually. Okay. Meeting them only will give, because from that Advaitam, Bhagavan wanted to, that is Bhagavad Padal himself wanted to go and, in a way, see him as a kind of mirror image of Bhagavan actually. There's so much of all these, the stories that are there about Kailasam, Parvati, Parameshwara, all everything together. So it's time that I should go and explore that and then come back and give my children something about that actually. See, Bhagavad Pada, how majestic Bhagavad Pada is. He didn't just land up taking his decision just like that, because he already had the knowledge. By sitting here, he can definitely conceive about Bhagavan and Bhagavan Tattvam and everything. But he said, no, I want first-hand experience. So let me go and see and come back and then write everything. That's the reason whatever Bhagavad Pada has written has so much of deep meaning even now, actually. And that's what Amba is saying, that until the Kali will be there, until the last day, last moment of Kali, whatever Bhagavad Pada has written and whatever Bhagavad Pada has given, to all of us, it will give hands for Kaivalya Moksham. So Bhagavad Pada has taken this mission of going to Kailasa. And Bhagavad Pada is reaching Kailasa. And then Bhagavad Pada could realize, the majesty of Kailasa as a city, as a celestial city, and he could witness the divine couple with his own self, actually. Pratyaksha darshanam of Parvati Parameshwara. And beyond Parameshwara, he was so embellished into the beauty of Amba, actually. As we say, kya baat hai? The way we say, right? Or maybe whatever we have read, whatever we have conceived, whatever we could perceive, if it comes in front of us, the kind of expression it can lead to, actually. Bhagavad Pada had that kind of a emotion, it seems. And this is something, a very interesting thing that happened there. Generally, when we as individuals, when we go to have a visit of three individuals, one is Raja, one is Bhagavan, one is Guru, we are not supposed to go empty-handed, actually. We are supposed to take something to offer them, actually. That is what the Shastras are talking about. We should never go empty-handed. Okay? So we should take something. Here, in this case, Bhagavad Pada did not take anything. In turn, Parvati and Parameshwara landed up giving him something actually. You look into the status of Bhagavad Pada actually. And for that, Bhashyakaras are saying, what will Bhagavad Pada carry? Because Bhagavad Pada himself is what Parvati and Parameshwara are desiring actually. Sat Putraha, Sat Sishyah, Sat Manushyaha, Sat Deva Swarupaha. Like he is Sat Putraha. He's the exalted son of Parvati and Parameshwara. Sat Jnani, you know. More than him, there is nobody who is knowledgeable. Satkarya Kramaha. He is doing the best of the work that he can do for himself and for the humanity. What else gift he can bring to Jagatav Pitra Vande Parvati Parameshwara? This is what the parents wanted, right? Here also, we also want, or our parents also wanted the same thing, right? You know, Mera naam roshan karo. You know, kuch acha kaam karo. Or what Bhagavad Pada is doing, usse koi bada kaam koi nahi kar sakta. So Bhagavad Pada was the embodiment of that form actually. And another thing the Bhashyakaras is saying is that Bhagavad Pada is a sannyasi actually. So as a sannyasi, even if he is going to meet Bhagavan himself, he doesn't have to carry anything actually. Because a sannyasi has given up everything, right? So what is that the sannyasi will carry actually? So based on these two conditions, Parvati and Parameshwara, after having darshan of Parvati and Parameshwara, and after doing stotram, parayanam, and after like everything, they were also equally, there was a happy relationship that was established between both the sides, actually, both by the parents and by the son. That was there. And then Parvati and Parameshwara are saying together, now it's a time that we wanted to give you something as a gift, actually, which you can take it with yourself. And of course, you are going to keep it for yourself till your lifetime, and you're going to give it to your in the planet Earth, and they are going to, be benefited actually. So Parameshwara is giving Panchalingaha, Panchaspatika Lingaha, Parameshwara is giving. 5 Spatika Linga, Parameshwara is giving. And Mahapariva is giving this Bhashyam to Lingam. Lingam means a mark or a sign. That is, it is an anthropomorphic form which doesn't have legs and hands and all. It is Rupa Arupa Tattvaha. It's Rupa Arupa Tattvaha. Rupam is there, still it is Arupam. Still there is no form actually. So this was given by Parameshwara. Now Amba is saying, I should also give something to my son. Or only you will give. I can also give to my son. So Amba is taking out the Shakti from her, that is, she's called as Vimarsha, that is the entire glow from her, and she's transforming into manuscript. And she's saying that this is the Parama Rahasyam of me, you take it with you. Again, Amba is establishing as Rupa Arupa Tattvam. That manuscript has a Rupam, but still it is Arupam actually. And it seems that whatever was deciphered in it was Deva Bhasha, that is only that is a kind of a language, not even Sanskritam, that is a kind of a language only Shankara Bhagavad Pada can understand, or the celestial beings who are actually designated, for them only the words will be visible, it seems actually. So again in Rupa Tattvam, Amba is giving this gift to Shankara Bhagavad Pada. And now Mahapariva is saying, who these Panchalingas, Mahapariva is explaining. What are these Panchalingas? These Panchalingas is, the first linga is Yoga Linga, which is established in the Kanchi Kamakoti Peetam. The Yoga Lingam is established in Kanchi Kamakoti Peetam as Chandramaulishwaraha. Chandramaulishwaraha. It is called as what? Tell the name, all of you. Yoga Lingaha. Yoga Lingam. YOGA. The next one, Acharya established it as Mukti Lingam in Kedarnath. In other words, Kedarnath. Mukti Lingam in Kedarnath. The third one is Varalingam. Varalingam in Nilakanta, Nepal. Nilakanta, Nepal. And the fourth one is Bhogalingam. The fourth one is Bhogalingam in Sringeri. The fourth one is Bhogalingam in Sringeri. And the fifth lingam is Mokshalingam at Chidambaram. The fifth lingam is Mokshalingam in Chidambaram. We will explain this later, actually. We will look into it a little later. Now, most of the part of the story you all know, I guess, but still I will kind of interpolate it. Now that Bhagavad-pada has got this, the five lingas, and Bhagavad-pada, of course, he's not like us. The moment we are going to get a ticket to Kailasa, we will take extra suitcases and all, so that if Parvati and Parameshwara will give something, means we can keep everything and come back, So unfortunately, he is not like that. So he didn't have anything. He didn't even have a bag and all. Only his dandam was there. He always holds his dandam and wearing a kashaya vastram. No, nothing is there to Bhagavad Pada. So five lingas and those manuscripts, he's holding literally like this and walking, actually, not knowing, with that great pushy, that joy, and also the link is very carefully. One person was extremely very jealous and very annoyed looking into this, actually. How this can happen, actually, all of a sudden he came from somewhere and everything is given to him. What nonsense is this? Like typical, the brothers, sisters who fight, actually, if mother will give something to one child, as if the entire Gajana is given, that the kind of a behavior they will end up doing. The similar behavior is coming from whom? Our very dear Nandikeshwara Swami. He went and stood in the gate. Let me see how he's going to go away. So Nandikeshwara is standing in the gate, actually. Bhagavad Pada didn't even, think about what Nandikeshwara could do. But Nandikeshwara was so annoyed with Bhagavad Pada. It's just like that you came and you will take everything of our mother. Give me. So what he did, so Bhagavad Pada is carrying like this. So that manuscripts are there. He pulled the manuscripts. So half of the manuscripts, what was there in the hands of Bhagavad Pada, went into Nandikeshwara's hands, actually. And Bhagavad Pada was so upset. Yeah, first time somebody gave me a gift. That too, Parvati, Parameshwara themselves gave the gift. And now I lost this gift. What to do? So upset he was standing there, not knowing what to do. Because Bhagavad Pada is also thinking. There, Acharya is giving this interpretation. Bhagavad Pada doesn't even wanted to go and complain on Nandikeshwara, it seems, actually. He's standing there in the gate. He could have went inside again. Correct, na? He would have went and told Amma and Appa, this is what Nandikeshwara did. But he felt, no, that is not the right way, What if some unearth will happen, if something will happen, it will lead to more difficulty. So Bhagavad Pada is standing there and about to tear, it seems like he was about to cry. There he is listening the Asariri. Asariri means the voice is coming, it seems, where Amba is speaking. Shankara, don't worry. It is all for good. Whatever is not there in your hands, I will personally tell you again, you write it by yourself. You write it by yourself. Everything has a reason, so you don't have to worry. And that moment Amba said this, it seems like, just like Ganga will do pravaham, we all saw the story of Bhagirath and Ganga, just the way Ganga flowed, it seems that something was flowing inside Bhagavad Pada and it came out as Ananda Rasamritam. And that Ananda Rasamritam of Amba's Padadi Kesha Varnanam. Padadi Kesha Varnanam means from the head or from the hair, literally to the toenails, Bhagavad Pada could internally see Amba, it seems, actually, within him, actually. Padadi Kesha Varnanam. So, therefore, 100 stanzas. So, 59 stanzas was with Bhagavad Pada. Sorry, 41 stanzas was with Bhagavad Pada, and 59 stanzas were snatched away by Nandikeshwara Swami. 59 was snatched away, 41 was there with Bhagavad Pada. Okay, so this altogether 100, it is called as Soundarya Lahari. But very specifically, the 59 is called as Soundarya Lahari, and the 41 is called to be Ananda Lahari. Is called to be Ananda Lahari. Together, it is called to be Soundarya Lahari. Together, it is called to be Soundarya Lahari. Why? There are reasons. Bhashyakaras are giving us reasons for that. One of the reason is, though the first part came from Devi herself, but more than what came from Devi, what was actually composed by Shankara is the sum totality of the entire Shri Vidya Lakshanam, Shri Vidya Tattvamritam, Shri Vidya Advaita Bhavam of our Mahatripura Sundari, our Amba. The first portion, that is Ananda Lahari, is much technical, it seems. It is very technical. It is technical even to chant. It is technical even to understand. It is technical even to do what is called as mantra anushtana palanam. I mean, what Bhagavad Pada actually composed is much, it is much, it's not it's not easier, but it is, we can perceive it easy because Bhagavad Pada has filled it with his emotions, actually, has filled it with his energies, has filled it with what we technically, I keep talking about bhavana, So reading that is going to ultimately give us that bhavana, students, that required bhavana, that bhavana with Bhagavad Pada developed, that bhavana with which acharyas have developed since the time of Bhagavad Pada, again and again and again, that same bhavana we are also capable of deriving, achieving, living, and going to the next life. That is the way it will happen. So what Bhagavad Pada actually composed is much more of the weightage as compared to what Devi herself gave, actually. That is what Bhashyakaras are actually saying. Because what Devi has given directly, it seems that there is a lot of, Acharya is saying, Mahapariva is saying, what Devi has given has a lot of disciplinary restrictions. Has a lot of disciplinary restrictions. And we have to go through those disciplinary restrictions to follow those dimensions, actually. So, and Bhagavad Pada is giving the example between somebody doing, the worship of Bhagavan in simple terms and doing some parayanam and bhajan and everything, as compared to doing some yantra worship, japam and everything. Because the later part needs a lot of discipline, restrictions, and awareness and procedures, actually. But the first part, going to the temple, having darshan of Devi, doing some simple pujas, doing nama japam and everything, it is not that strict, actually. But both have the same value or the same dimension, actually. But the one who wants to come from this particular place, that, okay, fine, I have done all these stotrams, bhajans, and, nama japam and everything. Now I wanted to travel to the next part. should be able to have that kind of a disciplinary mechanism to go through that process in a very strict manner and continue it for their lifetime. So it is not possible for everybody, but the results have to be ultimately the same. That's the reason Bhagavad Pada, whatever Bhagavad Pada composed was much more easy to perceive, much more easy to, to comprehend, much more easy to apply, and much more easy to derive benefits of it. In other words, the Bhashyakara is saying, what Devi has given, we do practice of it. Maybe Devi might land up testing us. But what Bhagavad Pada has given, since Bhagavad Pada himself has given this anugraham, what based on the directives that is received from Devi, and Bhagavad Pada is the Satputraha of Devi herself. So when Bhagavad Pada is giving us anugraham, Devi will not stop it actually. Because Guru Kataksham, if it is there, means Koti Punyaha. Guru is giving anugraham means Devi will not stop it. Devi will support it. That is what the Shastram is talking about and saying. So Guru Kataksham is very important. If Guru is there, then everything is Jayam. If Guru is showing the way and we walk that path, it is always safe actually. That is what is the beauty of this Tantra Shastra. And that is also one of the grave dangers also. Because of that, there is a lot of exploitations, which is very true. No doubt about it. So having a guru is a very important thing. And then the guru shows the way. And that guru is who? Shankara Guru. Who? The Bhashakaras are also explaining the fact that there are also reasons to say that, Shankara did never go to Kailasa. Shankara is the one who composed the 100 verses together. Bhashaka Mahapariva is saying that it is still fine. If Acharya is done, then it is much more easier. Then there is no need to worry about these things actually. Because Acharya is the one who gave us, right? So it's fantastic. Clear. And the first part, that is Ananda Lahari, it is actually the mantra swarupam, the sampurna mantra swarupam of Shri Vidya Tattvam. And the second part is all about Sharanagati to Parambika. How that Sharanagati? Amba is a jar of honey, it seems. Okay? She's a jar of honey. And we are all bees. Going around. And ultimately, we will get dipped into it. Once the bee will, once the fly will go inside, will it come outside actually? Can it come out? So that is what we are. We'll keep going. That's it. So Bhagavad Pada has given it in that particular manner. That sweetness is there, it seems. So how beautiful, right? Correct? If Lalita Sahasranamam is one aspect of mantra lakshanam of Shri Vidya, Soundarya Lahari is the other extreme of the stotra lakshanam of Shri Vidya. Mantra lakshanam and stotra lakshanam. And you are all having what is called as double dhamaka this semester. Learning both extremes actually. Let's see how many of you are going to pass out with flying colors. So Bhagavad Pada, as I told you, Bhagavad Pada went to Kailasa and he got the lingam and then the manuscripts and then he came down. So that is the point of time where Bhagavad Pada wrote a lot of stotrams. You all know that, lot of stotrams starting from starting from Ganesha Pancharatnam to Bhajagovindam. You take one. In Shankara, I studied in Shankara Vidyalaya, till my 8th standard. They used to have one book itself called Shloka Manjari actually. It used to have all the shlokas of composed by Shankara actually. And every week we used to have one period, and the teacher used to come and teach us, and we used to chant and everything. So Bhagavad Pada has done so much of stotram actually. So Bhashyakara is saying, I do not know all these stotrams, what to do. Then learn Soundarya Lahari. One stotram, it's equal to all the 100 stotrams which Bhagavad Pada has composed. Go. It contains everything. So, Soundarya Lahari is Stotra Rajaha. Lalita Sahasranamam is Mantra Rajaha. How? Simply, I cannot give these statements. Now, I should explain it. Correct. That is the role of the teacher. Simply can't put these emotions into place. Actually, we should have some logic derived from the Shastras. We should have the logics actually why it is considered to be like this. So Acharya is explaining that this Soundarya Lahari is composed with a 17 syllable words, it seems. Per root, it contains 17 syllable, and that 17 syllable is called as Shikarini. What it is called? Shikarini. Shikarini in Sanskritam. Shikarini. Correct, Vishwanath pronunciation. Shikarini. Okay. And there is another meter which is in the same syllabus, which is called as Mandharakanta. Sorry, Mandakranta. Mandakranta. And it is through this Mandhakranta, Kalidas has composed what is called as Meghadhutam. Periva is saying all these things, which is full of poetic rasa. Again, it is on Devi. Now, why we are saying this? One example, why the example of Kalidas is given here is this, because the Shikarini is so unique that nobody has composed a poetic language with this apart from Bhagavad Pada. Though Kalidasa used the same meter but in a different dimension, but what Bhagavad Pada used is very, very unique. It is Bhagavad Pada is the most intelligent scholar, and it is his what is called as the jewel of his work. Soundarya Lahari is the jewel of his work, actually. In a literary sense, Mahapariva is saying this actually. And Periva is giving this example. Those who know a little bit of Sangeetam, Karnataka Sangeetam will understand this. In Sangeetam, we have what is called as Tal. Tal is the basic, correct, na? And this Tal is actually put in if it is, the Tal is mixed with Mishraha, if it is mixed in different ways, then the aesthetic guna, that the beauty sound is much more better. The seven swaras, when the seven swaras will mingle in a particular manner in a Mishra, it's clubbed in a particular manner, then the sound is much more anandam actually. It is much more beautiful, it seems. So similarly, in the Shikarini, Bhagavad Pada has used the words in such a way that it brings in that ultimate beauty which cannot be described in words actually. Because you understand what kind of darshan Bhagavad Pada had of Amba. It is not easy to put it in words actually. We say something, right? It's beyond experience. It's beyond words. Certain things. Just imagine Bhagavad Pada had darshan of Shakshat Mahatripura Sundari. And you imagine he had to explain this in words actually. So that is something very unique, and that's the reason it is called as Shikarini. And now that is not the ultimate thing. There is something more to this actually. This Shikarini is divided into a set of 4, 6, and 7 syllables. 4, 6, and 7 syllables. one kind of a correction. This 4, 6, and 7 syllables is Mandara Kanta. Shikarini is divided into 6 and 11 syllables. Shikarini is divided into 6 and 11 syllables. And this 11 syllables has a deep esoteric meaning in our Tantra and Shri Vidya. This 11 has a very deeper meaning. That is, since it's a Guhya Shastram, there is deeper meaning is embedded. What is the deeper tattva? That is because aksharas are the ones which is forming the foundation of what is called as these sentences, and these sentences are giving meaning, and these meaning have embedded esoteric understanding within them actually. So this 11 syllables, which is this Shikarini, that is this meter, is consisting of what actually? The first and the foremost thing is all about, it represents the Shri Chakra dimensions. The 9 plus 2 avarnas, which is the 11 avarnas, it includes, it is like walking from the outer to the inner gate actually. All the 100 shlokas or the 100 verses of the Soundarya Lahari, the one who's going to do Parayanam, it's literally like walking through the gates of the Shri Chakra. Second, there are 11 dimensions to human consciousness. There are 11 dimensions to human consciousness. And the 12th dimension is Mukti. No, so Bhagavad Pada is making us to go through all the 11 dimensions so that nothing is left over. We are completely freed so that we can attain the final stage actually. Now you should ask me what are the 11 stages of consciousness. I'm not going to get into now there. It is going to come in the next session. It will be coming actually. So Soundarya Lahari is Moksha Lahari. Therefore, Soundarya Lahari is Moksha Lahari. Bhagavad Pada as a guru is making us to walk through this entire human embodiment of our existence, not of this Janma, but since time immemorial, whatever Janmas we have taken, is making us to walk through all those dimensions without any residue and taking us to the gates of Paradevata herself, which is Moksham. Clear to all of you? Therefore, the Parayanam of Soundarya Lahari, we might start with the idea of devotion. We have bhakti on Parambika. We have we merely wanted to learn as a stotram. Everybody's learning Soundarya Lahari seems to be a very famous stotram. So let me also land up learning the Soundarya Lahari. Or some mommy next door mommy told me to learn Soundarya Lahari. Or my mother is asking me to learn Soundarya Lahari so that all my problems will be getting over. So whatever reasons you land up coming here, but ultimately, you are going to lead to what is called as doors of moksham. Even if you don't want it, it will lead you. So all of you, those who wanted to learn, be very careful. எனக்கு மோக்ஷம்லாம் ஒன்றும் வேண்டாம்ப்பா எனக்கு இங்க இருக்கிற प्रॉब्लम सही பண்ணு मुझे मोक्षम वगैरह कुछ नहीं चाहिए मुझे यहाँ की जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको ठीक कर दो उसका मैं गारंटी नहीं ले सकता हूँ मैं मोक्षम का गारंटी ले सकता हूँ एक्चुअली बिकॉज the entire the teaching is getting into those dimensions actually. Of course, if you're smart enough, you'll understand where are the loopholes I'm showing you actually, You should be smart enough to understand my coded language actually when I'm talking in the class. Okay, this is what he's meaning. Actually, this, if I'm going to do it properly, maybe, I can get rid of these problems and everything. But anyway, so in other words, in simple sense, my dear students of this Mahavidyalaya, Soundarya Lahari is going to bring in what is called as the cosmic alignment within our system, actually. It is going to bring in what is called as the cosmic alignment. Because the Panchadashi mantra has 15 syllables, but if the Panchadashi mantra's core root syllable words are taken out, it is 11 in number. So the entire Soundarya Lahari is scripted the Panchadashi mantra, actually. And these 100 yantras are nothing but what is called as the microscope of the Shri chakras, actually. No, it is what is called as an easier version to get into the Shri chakra, actually. Why there are 100 yantras are there, actually? There are 100 verses with 100 yantras, actually, with 100 bijaksharas. That 100 bijaksharas are the sum total of the Shri Vidya bijakshara tattvam, actually. That same thing is repeated, actually, in different dimension. It is repeated. So all those shatkonam, trikonam, I mean the circle, the triangle, the bindu, everything is that Shri chakra which is derived. If it's like, you have a cake, you cut the cake and then you take the piece of that cake. You understand? You cannot consume the whole cake now. Bhagavad Pada knows that, actually. So that's the reason Bhagavad Pada, what intelligently he has done. Okay, my children cannot consume the whole cake. So let me cut it and give it nicely to them. That is the work of the parent, right? Yes or no? So Bhagavad Pada is nicely cut it into different slices, into different dimensions. He is giving us, so this entire 100 verses is nothing but making us literally walk through the Shri Chakra. And this is the way we are supposed to start the foundations to Shri Chakra, actually. Yesterday, you remember I was talking about, preparation. You be prepared that you can sustain. This is what is preparation all about, actually. I want to do Shri Chakra Puja. First, go through this, actually. Then we will see whether we can go to Shri Chakra Puja. Otherwise, one day you will do the Shri Chakra, other day the Shri Chakram is in one place and you are in one place, and all other, your in other self is in another place, actually. Correct, na? Act innocent, all of you, as if I have not done anything wrong. I don't know about this, actually. Having a Shri Chakra, but you should know what Shri Chakra all about. No? It's that Shri Chakra is not to keep near Devi, actually. It's like a gift to her. No, it's a gift for us. You should know, right? What is that gift all about? So our Mahavidyalaya is going to systematically unfold that for you, actually. Systematically. Nothing will be rushed here. Step by step, based on qualifications only, it will be unveiled, actually. Otherwise, it will not sustain, I'm telling you. Again and again, I'm telling you, the yoginis who are awarding this knowledge, they will simply take it away also. Like the seconds, they will take it away from us, actually. So every moment we are preparing ourselves, actually. Every moment we are preparing for two dimensions. One, to receive the knowledge, and to be in that knowledge, actually, and to sustain that knowledge. Very important. It's that you have received the knowledge and it is over. Nah, being there is another thing, actually, which is very important. That's the reason these paths required a teacher, actually. The teacher should be there constantly. The teacher should be there. Without the teacher, we cannot do anything. Without a teacher, it looks as if we have divorced from the entire practice, actually. We have been divorced from the entire thing that we are doing, actually. So Soundarya Lahari, Soundaryam Lahari is a combination of Jnanam and Bhakti. Bhakti is there for all of you. That's the reason you are here. Otherwise, why will you sit and listen to this? That Bhakti, imagine that Bhakti is the pencil and there is a sharpener. So now what is happening? That Bhakti is being sharpened. And what is the outcome? There is a very nice sharp pencil. But that is not the outcome. You see flowers that comes out after you sharp. That is Jnanam actually. The end product is Jnanam. Correct, Sonam. But what you people do? You sharp it and you throw away the Jnanam actually. Again, your pencil will become. So this Jnanam, the bhakti, the more it is getting sharpened, the outcome you should know to sustain it actually. And Soundarya Lahari will not help. Bhagavad Pada will help actually. You understand? Bhagavad Pada will help you to sustain it actually. That's the reason in the initial stage, what I told you, Acharya Anugraham is very important. Acharya Kripa is very important. Being a Sat Sishya is very important. You know, being very humble for the knowledge is very important. You show it, you demonstrate it actually. Demonstrate it through your emotions, demonstrate it through your sincerity, demonstrate through your approach. Then you see how it is sustaining within you, how it is changing your thought process, how it is changing your personality, how everything you are perceiving is becoming different. In Tamil, they say, Tottadallam Tholangaradu, you know, whatever you do, everything will have magic actually, you know. It takes you to different ways actually. So today, if I have to sum up the learning outcomes, Bhagavad Pada, the life of Bhagavad Pada in relation to Soundarya Lahari, Soundarya Lahari, how it came into existence, the difference between what is called as Soundarya Lahari and Ananda Lahari, and Soundarya Lahari, the meter composition, and the Tattva Lakshana that is present within the meter composition, how it is a Sukshma Jnanam, you know, extremely deeply tantric, though it is Vedantic on the outer level, but it is deeply tantric because it has application, it has procedures, it has mechanisms, and ultimately how bhakti is getting sharpened as knowledge, and that knowledge in turn we are offering it at the feet of our acharya and asking him that, you know, I am qualified, you know, or rather I am qualified in the path in which you have showed me. Now it is your grace that you take me to Parambika. That is the surrender. कुर्ता मारिए ना पढ़चिटे आपने जैसे कहा मैंने वैसे ही पढ़ लिया सब कुछ मैं वैसे ही कर रहा हूं तो अभी आपका ड्यूटी है मुझे माँ के पास ले जाना और माँ को दिखाना when you go and stand in front of Bhagavad Pada like this you think that Bhagavad Pada will deny us. No, he cannot, because you have done everything that Bhagavad Pada has asked you to do. So this is the introduction, how these classes are going to go further. From here, we will get into further to understand the fasting that is all associated with Soundarya Lahari. And also I will introduce you to the drawings of the yantras, you know, the foundations of yantras, different kinds of yantras, what is their meaning, what is their significance. So the class will have both what is called as a theory and a practical class actually. The practically what is drawing these bases of yantras, because you have to draw hundreds of yantras along with the along the classes as they scaffold actually. So every week after the 29th, the inauguration, every week I forgot which day we are having our Soundarya Lahari classes, but weekly once you will have class, and only 7 mantras will be covered in a very detailed manner, actually. Syllabification, word-to-word meaning, explanation, the drawing, the usage, and homework, actually. Like that, it will be given. 7 mantras we will cover. The classes alone for Soundarya Lahari will take 1.5 hours to almost you have to be prepared for 2 hours almost, because then only I can, if you want me to teach properly in detail, then I need that much of time, because it might be just 7 mantras, but we have to look very deep into each and every mantra. So be prepared. 1.5 hours to 1 hour 45 minutes, the classes will go. And before that, until then, we will be having these introductory classes into all the dimensions, so that you have a kind of an understanding, starting understanding of Soundarya Lahari, drawing the yantras and why these yantras are there and everything. And then we will start with the syllabus, actually. I hope you're all enjoying the classes, and it's making a lot of meaning, and you are able to, take everything together. Some of your writing reflections to me, in email also, some of you are writing, but for the Facebook, whatever is coming, I keep responding, actually, whenever I get time. For the email, I've been reading, but I'm not able to respond. I hope we will be able, after the blogspot will come in, we are inaugurating our blogspots. You all can write detailed and nice articles, and we can share in our blogspots, and so that it is preserved as a matter of history. And also, like you, who are all searching for a proper place to study, I hope such people will get to read them and come and learn in the future, actually. Thank you so much. We'll end the class with Mangalam. सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते जयन्ती मङ्गला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोऽस्तुते ॐ शान्तिः 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 सर्वं श्री चण्डी महालक्ष्मी अर्पणमस्तु तथास्तु. Thank you so much.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste, Guruji.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Guruji.
much,
Thank you so much.
Guruji.